Hi there and welcome back to the Project Corner. Today I'm going to share how you can share reports using Microsoft Project. Now, using the example that I've created earlier in the Agile video, I created a nice report. So in Microsoft Project versions 2013 and up, there's a new reporting option. And this option is very nice because it has burn down charts and it has resource over allocation reports, and it also has the option to create something with task boards. So we have the current board status thingy, and we have board task status. What I really wanted to do is I wanted to use the custom fields that I created earlier, and those had story points in there. Those had the user story references. So I wanted to create a report that was more in tune with what I think was an Agile report. And that's highly personal, and I'm by no means an Agile coach or anything. But this is what I came up with. So right from the start, you will see how much work people still have to do, and if this balances out quite nicely, then you're doing okay, I think. If there's no remaining work, then you might want to give someone additional work for a next sprint maybe. Here's a nice little pie chart with some fancy graphics where the board status is shown. I have incompleted work by sprint ID, so there's still work that needs to be done from sprint 2, sprint 3, and sprint 4. And yeah, that shouldn't happen, right? So we have to have the create custom attributes. That needs to be in the latest sprint if it's incomplete. But the fun part about this table is that if you're running at the end of your sprint and you need to know what things didn't complete during that sprint, this is actually quite nice. What I did for this table is I created the, obviously there were sprints in here. What I created was a filter that sorted out all the Agile tasks, as well as tasks that weren't complete or weren't started yet. Another part of this this report is the user story progress and the story points that are in there. So what I did in the previous video is I had the user stories as being the summary tasks of my project. So let me show you briefly for those who didn't see the example. So I have these summary tasks here, and they're actually my user stories. Now, why did I do that? Well, if you're in one of the, for instance, the board, task board, there's a new filter in here, and that's very nice because it has the option to filter on summary task as well as on resources. And because it's filtering on summary task and it shows you the whole summary task, you actually have a nice little filter that you can misuse or use for your user stories. So for instance, this is now all the user story 2 items that I'm going to do. So let's head back to our report where in the task boards, in the recent, I can also find them in the custom. So here's the Agile report again. So I like this report, and I think it's something that my company also would like to use. And I'm talking about your company, obviously. If you have created a very nice report and you want to share that report, well, how do you do that? So one thing is you have that as a template, so you can store this file and just have it as the Agile template. But for instance, if you have a couple of colleagues that use their own project templates and they don't want to use your template, but they are interested in your Agile report, well, then you are going to use the organizer. So the Microsoft Project Organizer. And you can find that in File, Info, and then Organizer. And this is a very neat little tool that's within Microsoft Project, and it gives you the option to share, for instance, reports or views or tables or filters or basically anything that you want to share with someone else. Now, if you are the only scheduler in your company, that can happen, of course, then it would be enough for you to save the Agile stuff that you created into the global.mpt. The global mpt file is well, it's your main template. Every project starts with the global mpt as its basis. So if you grab these two items here and you copy them to the global mpt, from that moment on, text 1 is user story and text number 1 is story points. Now, I'm not going to do that because I actually have some other stuff here at some of my projects. But what you need to do if you want to share this with other people, you open up the other file, and I have nothing open now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new blank project. So this project is completely new and it doesn't have my recently created Agile report. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the organizer to move the report to project 1. So let's head over to File, Organizer, and then a number of things you want to do. Here is the reports, and we need to have the reports available in Agile example. And we have the Agile report here, and I move it by copying it to project 1. Why is this not enough? Well, the report uses a filter, and I have that here, all incomplete Agile tasks. And I'll copy that over here as well. And it also has a number of fields, namely story points and user stories. So I'm going to copy those as well. And I'm going to click on Close. And right now I have my custom report in my project 1, and that's the Agile. And there's nothing in here, of course, because it's a completely blank project. But as soon as you start populating this project with a couple of sprints, and we can do that, of course, we're going to add a couple of sprints. And I'm going to go to my task board and I'm going to add a new task. And task 2. I'm going to set that task 2 as being done and this one being next up. And task 3 is in progress and I'm going to set that to 50% done. And I'm going to go to my sprints. Another task. It's up next. And that's it for now. Let's see what happens with my report. There we go. There's no story points. Okay, well, that's true. And task 1 and 2 are not linked to any sprint ID, which is also true because I only had the another task being within a sprint. So what happened to my task 2? Well, it was set to 100% complete, so it doesn't show up in the incomplete work. Well, looks like it's working. So that's basically it for this video. Let me briefly recap that, where you have File, Info, and Organizer, and you just basically copy everything that you want from the file that you have, and you're going to move that over to the project that you want to have it in. And now, if you are the only project manager within the organization or the only scheduler, it will be enough for you to just copy it into the global MPT. So this was a very short video. I hope you liked it. If you did, consider subscribing and hit that like button because that helps the channel. If you're interested in this report that I shared in the video, then you can subscribe to the newsletter and you'll get it for free.